Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Olowek. My boyfriend, 25 male, asked to see my 21 female phone and read my messages, and I got defensive and told him no. Am I in the wrong? My boyfriend and I have been together for around 3 months now, long distance. While my boyfriend is great, he has a lot of trust and control issues. If I tell him I am hanging out with friends, he will always ask me if they are men or women, what they're doing, asking me if I'm drinking, etc. He has stated that he would like me to not go out to nightclubs when he's not there and have that be an activity we do together. He used to go way overboard with jealousy and controlling behavior. Probably one of the worst times was when I mentioned to him that my roommate had friends over and some of them were male, and he told me to leave the party and FaceTime him until they left. It was really embarrassing to do that. That was the last straw for me, and after I had a very serious discussion with him that I will not be tolerating his controlling behavior, and he has toned it down a lot. This incident happened around a month ago, but it is still causing problems for us. We were having one of our weekend visits, and while waiting for him to have a shower, I was on my phone texting my BFF. My best friend is a guy, and my boyfriend knows this. He asked me who I was messaging, and I said my best friend, and he asked what we were talking about. I just paraphrased that we were talking about midterms and how my friend is in the middle of a study binge. My boyfriend then asked me to give him my phone so he could read the conversation. This raised a huge red flag for me because, in my view, this just screams controlling behavior. I didn't have anything to hide from him, but I was angry that he still didn't trust me after all this time, and my reflex response was to tell him no. He was not happy with this, and it caused an argument. He was saying if I didn't have anything to hide, I would have no problem showing him, and he even gave me his phone and said I could look through it all I want. I didn't want to look through his phone because I feel like I didn't need to. I trust him. I was saying that he needs to trust me and respect my privacy. I'm tired of his default assumption being that I'm hiding something. It got to the point where he was holding one end of my phone trying to yank it out of my hands. Although the argument ended, this issue isn't over for us. He has told me numerous times that he trusts me less since I wouldn't let him go through my phone because he is convinced that I refused to give him my phone because there was something on there that I didn't want him to see. I'm not proud of how the argument went down, and I'm conflicted over whether I was in the right or in the wrong. I rarely have good composure when I'm not on the spot during arguments and always conduct myself better if I have lots of time to think out a response. From his perspective, I can see why your girlfriend not allowing you to read her messages can be seen as shady. From my perspective, I saw it as him being controlling, and I'm not willing to entertain any more controlling behavior. Lately, I've been feeling like maybe I was wrong to not let him go through my phone, and it is my fault. Is it unreasonable for him to ask to see my messages? Do people in healthy relationships allow their partners to look through their phones? Is what I did shady? What should I say if he brings it up again? Well, OP, from my perspective, a partner is not requesting to read another partner's messages in a healthy relationship. I know that if I wanted to, I could go through my wife's phone without a problem, she wouldn't say anything, and she could do the same to me. We've never even spoken about open phone policy or any of that kind of crap because we don't need to. We trust each other. Like I believe most of humanity has, we've also had crappy relationships in the past, but we didn't bring the baggage with us into our relationship. But regardless, back to your case. Let me take a quick look to my non-existent crystal ball and let me see your future. There is no relationship there. You're only 3 months in and this is what your relationship looks like? OP, this is not a healthy relationship. Your boyfriend is controlling and it will only get worse. He's definitely got some insecurity issues, I don't know where they're from, but they're not yours to fix. So your reflex to not give him your phone, I say it's right because he shouldn't be asking to read your messages in the first place. And what do you guys think? Do you think OP should have let the boyfriend read through the messages? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Starglimmer says, I agree with you. Demanding to see messages seems controlling and it doesn't help the actual problem he has. Looking through your phone isn't going to help him trust you. It's more likely to add fuel to the fire. If people want to find something, they'll find it even if it isn't there. He needs to get help with his trust issues and need for control. I'll say to you what I'd say to a friend if they came to me with this. It seems like a lot of drama for such a young relationship. Most people are still in the lovey-dovey honeymoon phase. Consider the possibility that things will only escalate the longer you stay with him. And Opie responds, "Thank you. I am worried that things will only get worse and not better. I was also concerned with him trying to take the phone from my hands. When I didn't give him what he wanted, he tried to take it by force. I kept downplaying it after what happened, thinking that it didn't really matter, but I guess it doesn't set a good precedent." Naked Muffin Time says, quote, "He has told me numerous times that he trusts me less since I wouldn't let him go through my phone." End quote. Sounds like he doesn't trust you at all. This guy is way too controlling and I can see it's suffocating you. Ask yourself, are you really happy? If you aren't, then you should trust your gut. I'd get out of this relationship. He's way too insecure, jealous, and controlling, and he doesn't even trust you, nor does he deserve your trust. And OP responds, "I'm not happy when he acts like this, no. I thought that he would change, but so far there hasn't been much progress. I was trying to cut him some slack since it's not easy to just completely change how you do things overnight, but there hasn't been enough change for me. I feel like such an idiot. The first week we met, he asked me to add him on Facebook, and he still hasn't accepted my request. When I asked him why he hasn't accepted it yet, he said he was planning something and I should just trust him. I've been so blind." Boats Passing at Night says, "Boyfriend with a history of control and jealousy issues? You've been dating 3 months? It's not really history. I had a relationship very similar to yours. I wasn't allowed to go to clubs without him. He would check my emails, phone calls, text messages. He did something similar to your Skype call. Oh, and the controlling turned to my hair, color and cut, skin color. He wanted me to use sunbeds, clothes, polo necks when I wasn't around him, and makeup, even the perfume I had to wear. In the end, the situation escalated. I was isolated from friends and family, and the controlling turned into emotional abuse, then into physical and sexual abuse. I'm not saying your boyfriend will do this. I am just saying there have been several red flags, especially so early in your relationship." Additional information from OP's comments. First of all, English isn't my first language, so sorry for any mistakes. Anyway, regarding my Facebook request problem, in my mind, him still not accepting my friend request was always a little weird, since he asked me to add him in the first place and normally couples have each other added on Facebook. When I asked him a few weeks ago why he still hadn't accepted it, he said that it was because he was planning something, but he would eventually, and I just needed to trust him about it. I guess I just see it as a bit of a double standard. I am worried that things will only get worse and not better. I've told him multiple times how his behavior upsets me, and if he doesn't trust me, then we have no future. But I get the feeling from our conversations that he only tries to change because he wants to keep me, and not because he understands how it is controlling or why it upsets me. There have been lots of red flags that I've been ignoring. Alright, well I guess the community came through for OP because she's starting to understand how many red flags there are and how this relationship is just not good. So let's move on to the first of 2 updates to see what happened next. First of all, thank you to everyone for your support. This was my first relationship and I had no idea what I was doing. So the night I wrote my initial Reddit post 3 weeks ago, I broke up with my boyfriend. I still had very intense feelings for him, but in my mind it was what I had to do for myself. It didn't go over very smoothly. I felt like crap. Despite all of his faults, I still really cared about him. At first, he acted cool, but after a few hours, he asked if he could phone me to talk it over. I, stupidly in hindsight, agreed. He called me crying, begging to take him back and saying we can work through all of our disagreements. I, again stupidly in hindsight, agreed. Last week I went to go visit him. I thought maybe we could work out these issues in person, and we always get along great when we are together. The weekend went horribly. The first incident happened when we were taking the metro. A guy sitting close to us and I made eye contact a few times. I'm a people watcher by nature, and my boyfriend noticed that I had looked at him a few times. He said, "Would you like to switch places so you could look at that man better?" A few people around us definitely heard, and I was really embarrassed. He said if I wanted to go to his city alone and pick up a guy, he didn't care. The second incident happened one morning when I went to take a shower and I left my laptop with him so he could watch movies. When I came back, he had opened my messages and was reading my conversations. I felt so hurt at how little he trusted me still. Spending time together wasn't very enjoyable. Every time I asked him if he wanted to go do something, like go to the zoo or whatever, he would say yes, but once we were actually there, he said he didn't like it and didn't want to go in the first place. I was constantly coming up with fun things we could do as a couple, and they got shot down every time. Last weekend was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me, again. Once I got home, I was so resigned from the relationship and just started going through the motions, saying whatever I needed to say to not making angry and rock the boat. Then today, he texted me at 8:45 in the morning and I had slept in until 11:30. I woke up to several messages asking me what I was doing, where I was, and accusing me of being with some guy at 9 a.m. Normally, I would be quick to text back that I was just sleeping and reassure him that I wasn't with anyone, but this time, I didn't even care. I told him I was sleeping, he doesn't trust me and he never will. I want to break up and I think it's best we don't contact each other again. Right now, he is acting like he is totally fine with it and it's what he wants, and has also thrown out a few insults. But I suspect in a few hours he will be flooding me with messages like last time. Right now, I have him blocked on Skype and all social media accounts and my phone is turned off. I hope I can keep up with no contact, even though it will be hard. I feel a lot better about everything. I feel free. Extended update from OP's comments. I am going to block him on my phone, and if he ever tries to talk to me, I'm just going to shut down the conversation immediately. Also, I have this post saved and I sent a friend of mine a list of reasons why my ex is horrible for me. If I ever talk about missing him or wanting to get back together, she will just send me the list. Even though I feel really great about it now and knew it was the right thing to do, typing "I want to break up with you" was not easy. I did care about this person and I thought I loved them. And he told me that he loved me too. Not only that, but he needed me. I had never had anyone say that to me before and I felt responsible for his feelings and well-being. My big wake-up call was telling my flatmate what he was doing. When I told her everything, her face was like pure horror. I realized that I never told my other friends all that he was doing because I was embarrassed to tell them. Because I knew it was effing crappy and crazy, yet here I was, still with him. I guess I always thought that he could change, but I was wrong. In addition to all the controlling stuff, he was trying to rush the relationship way too quickly. Like, he was already talking about us getting engaged, and it was too much for me. Well, OP, you gave it another shot. Didn't work out. Hopefully, that was the last time. However, we have a final update, so why don't we go see what that's about and finish this story. The day after I broke up with my ex, he was trying to contact me in every way possible. Thank you to everyone who helped me find apps to block him. He was trying to phone me from his friends' phones, everything, but things were successfully blocked. I didn't have him blocked on Facebook, just not a Facebook friend, and he was messaging me on there all day, but I didn't notice it until late at night since they were going to my other inbox, message requests. Now, I need to note that about a month ago, I let my ex back up his phone onto my laptop. In case something ever happened, he could get all his pictures, music, etc. back. I had completely forgotten about this up to this point. That night, after I broke up with him, I was on my laptop working on an assignment. When looking for a picture I had saved, I saw a photo of his friends and remembered all his stuff was on my laptop and I should probably delete it. I started going through all my downloads and oh my god, as I kept going it got worse and worse. Let's just say it was a lot of not safe for work stuff. There were literally hundreds of images and videos that I spent around an hour or so deleting. I have no idea whether or not the photos were taken before or after we met, but like my flatmate said, this is the stuff he chose to keep on his phone. What could have happened that he didn't save? And I was so angry. The entire time he was constantly accusing me of cheating and not trusting me, and he never thought about mentioning any of this. After I found the photos, I sent him one message on Facebook saying, "Don't ever contact me again in any way." Took a screenshot of it so I have evidence that I explicitly told him not to contact me again and blocked his account. The next morning, I woke up and went on Facebook and I had a friend request from my ex. I was super confused since I blocked him, but he made a new Facebook account to try and contact me again. I went to my message request inbox and sure enough, there were 24 messages from the new account. They weren't just one-liners either. I quickly blocked the new account. Half an hour later, another new account from him added me as a friend and messaged me. I blocked that one too. I then changed my privacy settings to as private as possible. Only friends of friends could add me as a friend. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything to stop people who aren't my friends from messaging me. Long story short, in one day, he created 10 new accounts to try and message me. Although I've been doing the same routine, reporting it as harassment, blocking him, taking screenshots to document it all, and deleting the messages, nothing is apparently stopping him from just creating new accounts. He's also been messaging me from his friends' accounts. As I was typing this, I found out he is also trying to add my parents on Facebook. Ideally, I'd like to report him to Facebook and see if there's a way they can ban Facebook from his device or something. However, I can't find any way to do that. So I've deactivated my Facebook account and made a new one under a different name, different photo, but no one else's photo of course, and a different location. Also messaged my friends and family telling them what was going on, not to accept a friend request from him or anyone they don't know, to ignore messages and to report any messages as harassment. Tomorrow I'm going to the police department with my friend. She speaks Polish, so she can be an interpreter. Well, OP, hopefully your ex will get the hint that you don't want to talk to him and he doesn't do anything crazy. In any way, you've got good evidence that you've shut everything down and hopefully it all goes well with your friend and the police. So in the meantime, take care of yourself, OP. Thank you for sharing and all the best in the future. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user RKMTV. A customer was upset I didn't give her the right amount of fish. She was right. I used to work at a mom-and-pop store that sold clothes, farm supplies, animals, and sporting goods. Anyway, since we sold sporting goods, we also sold bait fish. Fishermen would frequently stop by our store to buy them to fish with, and they were sold by the dozen. Usually, when I scooted bait, I would give an extra few fish to my customers. I had one Russian lady come in to purchase bait fish, so just as I normally did, I scooped a net full of fish and started dumping them in the bag, counting them individually, and added a few extra on the bag. The lady watched me do this but insisted that I did not give her the correct amount. I assured her that I not only gave her the dozen she paid for, but I gave her a few extra. I literally just counted and have done this long enough that I was really good at eyeing when it was over a dozen. This lady just kept insisting that I didn't give her enough, so I said, okay, let's count together just to be sure. So I dumped all the fish from the bag back into the net and we started counting together very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. We get to 12 and it's very clear there are several extra fish in the net. I look up at her and I was like, oh, you were right. I didn't give you the right amount. I then proceeded to dump the remaining fish back into the tank in front of her and gave her exactly the amount she paid for. She ended up looking bewildered when I handed the fish back to her and left. Really, nothing more she could have done at that point, but I did start applying this philosophy to the customer who bought crickets. Well, she paid for a dozen, right? Thanks for sharing, OP. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.